The Tennessee Volunteers have a lot to be excited about as we enter into a new era of the SEC. We enter into a new era of college football. No, I'm not talking about the injunction that Tennessee and Virginia won against the NCAA, that restraining order that they got put on them that effectively neutered the NCAA and showed how ridiculous some of the NCAA's tactics are. No, I'm not talking about some of that. What I'm talking about is actually on the field in 2024. There is a lot to be excited about. Hello, everyone. I'm Blaine Gilmer. Welcome into SEC Unfiltered, the best SEC entity on the internet. So much is going on right here at SEC Unfiltered. We've got reaction to all of the different SEC sports. We've got news, we've got breakdowns, we've got coverage, everything that you could want of all things SEC. Head over to secunfiltered.com today or follow us on any of the socials you see below. That's here on YouTube, that's Instagram, that's X, that's Facebook, using at SEC Unfiltered. So thank you so much for being here. We're going to dive into some bold predictions for the Tennessee Volunteers in 2024, a team that is highlighted by a lot of experience along both lines of scrimmage, and then some key influx of talent at various spots. You got Zalance Hurd that's come over that is going to play the tackle position. That's huge. One of the most talented players in all of the transfer portal that ended up coming over to the Vols. And then you have Nico Iamaleava that's going to be at quarterback that we saw against Iowa, against a very, very good defense in Iowa, what he can do and what you should be excited about. Guys on the other side of the ball that have gained another year of experience, particularly James Pearce that we'll touch on, a guy off the edge that's absolutely dynamic. And then we'll hit on some other pieces as we go throughout these bold predictions. But first, guys, let's get into a little bit of paying the bills here. So bear with us just a second as we tell you about MyBookie.ag. Today, guys, you can go over to MyBookie.ag and use the promo code SECU and get a 50% deposit bonus on up to $1,000 on your first wager over there, guys. Listen, Tennessee basketball is going to be very, very exciting this March. If there's any other games this March in March Madness that you want to get a little bit of extra involvement with, whether it's the spread, the total, whether it's prop bets, go over to mybookie.ag. You've heard the name just about everywhere, and there's a reason why, guys, because mybookie.ag is the industry's leading sports book and casino. It's not hard to understand why, when you look at all of those thousands of lines and prop bets and totals, everything that you can need, not just March Madness, you've got NBA, you have baseball getting going here, MMA, soccer, everything you could want to bet on, you can do it over at mybookie.ag. Take advantage of the prop bet builder, the live game betting, everything you could want. So whether you're at home or on the go, they have a mobile-friendly website. Bet, win, and get paid at mybookie.ag. All right, guys, let's get into this first bold prediction here for the Tennessee Volunteers. Nico Iamaleava throws for more yards than Hendon Hooker did in 2022. Yes, I know Hendon Hooker missed the last game against Vanderbilt and then also missed the bowl game, but he was just short of 3,200 yards. I think you can see Nico Iamaleava go somewhere between 32 and 3,500 yards this year. And one reason I think that is because I think, yes, Hendon Hooker was a tremendous player for Tennessee, but he did not have the natural talent that Nico Iamaleava does. Nico, just the way that he releases the football, the way that he showed poise as a young player against a very, very talented Iowa defense, has, I think, even maybe more of a threat with his legs. You don't realize that Nico is running the way that he can run because of those long strides. He's eating up a lot of ground, and he's elusive. He can do things that just a lot of people can't. Yeah, we've seen throws where him being on the run and being able to just absolutely layer a throw in or put it on a line even while on the move. So I think that's an impressive skill. And then also, when you have this is a quarterback driven offense, we saw that with Joe Milton. It wasn't up to standard. I think you're going to see Nico Iamaleava, a guy that is able to cognitively be a step ahead of the game and be totally in control of what Josh Heupel's wanting to do there. And then also, I think he has the weapons, the depth on the outside to be able to get things done. You got Brew McCoy coming back. You've got Chris Brazzell coming in. And I think Chris Brazzell, guys, I've already done a video that you can check out there online on our channel. I think Chris Brazzell could end up being the best receiver on Tennessee's team. I really do. I think he's wide receiver one material. What he's already done with an experienced quarterback and Michael Pratt at Tulane, a winning program there. I think he'll bring winning habits and be and jump right in there to what Tennessee's wanting to do. He can be a deep threat. He can be a red zone threat. So I think that's a big deal for them. And I think it'll help Nico accomplish this bold prediction here. So when you're talking about Nico, you also have to be protected. They've got an experienced and talented offensive line in front of him, so that shouldn't be much of an issue. Tennessee always runs the ball well. You have to have balance and able to have an explosive passing attack, and I think they will. Of course, Squirrel White. You add a guy like Brazzell, who I think can be what they thought Deontay Thornton was going to be. So Brazzell on one side, McCoy on the other side, then Squirrel White and Nimrod and some of these guys that Caleb Webb, these guys that have been more depth pieces that are allowed to come along. I think all of it works together. And also the tight end position, they got Holden Stays coming in. So I think all of this at the tight end position, the wide receiver position, even the running back side of the backfield will help Nico Iamaleava throw for over 3,200 yards this year and more than Hendon Hooker did in 2022. Bold prediction number 2. I think James Pearce Jr. leads the nation in sacks this year with at least 16 and a half sacks. He had 10 last year, really kind of burst onto the scene. And now so many people come back on that defensive front, and they add Jackson Moy in on the interior. And Jackson Moy can get after the passer too. So I don't think it's a situation where everybody's just going to be able to load up their attention on James Pearce. He's going to have plenty of one-on-ones because of what he has beside him across the line of scrimmage on that Tennessee defensive line. Also, they got some athletic linebackers that can be used to rush the passer as well. So I think with all that, what I'm trying to say is that, hey, they've got some questions on the back end. What a better way to help out with those questions on the back end with all the new names and all the new roles that people are having to fill than just to get after the passer. Okay. And I think James Pearce can do that. I think he's as talented as anyone in the country. I think he's going to be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. Another reason I'm predicting him to have a big year. This is basically a contract year for James Pearce. He's going to be gone to the NFL next year, and he's going to be putting this on tape. I think he's going to have a huge year and lead the country in sacks. I think it'll be somewhere around the 16 and a half, 17 sack mark, and it'll be a huge year for the Tennessee edge rusher. And number 3, I think Tennessee's a bubble team waiting to hear its fate on Selection Sunday. Listen, I think that Tennessee quite easily could be an 11-1 team, and if they're 11-1, then they're in the playoff. They don't have to be a bubble team. I think it's more likely that they're a 10-2 or 9-3 team, and the fact of it is that, hey, that should in the SEC with what you play and what you are going up against week in and week out, I think that should be enough to get you in. But there's going to be a lot of teams from the Big Ten, I think, that are sitting right around the same mark. There'll be maybe a couple of teams from the Big 12 that are 10-2 or 11-1, something along those lines. So it's going to be interesting with this new 5+7 format. I don't know that Tennessee will make the SEC championship game. They could make the SEC championship game. I don't know that helps you or that's to your it depends on what your record is. that could almost be a detriment now. The SEC championship game, like if you let's say you go to the SEC championship game and you lose an SEC championship game. I'm just talking about Tennessee. I'm talking about Georgia, Alabama. I'm talking about Texas. Anybody, that's an extra data point out there. That's an extra game that you've had to play. And if you lose it, how does the committee handle that? We don't know in this new 5+7 format in this 12-team playoff. But I think Tennessee, the most likely scenario is that they're either 9-3 or 10-2. And that's I think a really good year with a young quarterback who I do think is going to have a great season, but there'll be a couple of times where he'll have some first year starter moments. Everybody does. It depends on when they're going to show up at what time and how detrimental they'll be. Also, the defense I think has other outside of James Pearce and that front defensive front. I think there are some questions on the back end. They'll be taken advantage of a couple of times back there. There may be a game where they just get outscored or something along those lines. However, I think Tennessee's going to be a really, really good football team, and I think they're going to be sitting right there waiting on Selection Sunday to determine, okay, what is our seed, or do we get one of these at large bids there in the college football playoff in the first 12-team playoff in the CFP era. So let us know what you think about it, guys. We'd love to hear your comments. Leave those below. Also, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and we'll catch you guys next time. Remember, we're presented by MyBookie.ag. And thank you so much for tuning in. We'll talk more Tennessee football, more SEC football, or more college football next time right here on the best SEC entity on the internet, SEC Unfiltered.